For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. On infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections.
If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious.
Violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs, hurting businesses, and burning down buildings. Remember, they are coming after me because I am fighting for you. That's what's happening.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Insurrection. Thank you, Jesus. It's Friday. We have made it so far. I'm Aynaz Cyrus sitting in for Michael Lauber. He'll be back Monday. Don't worry, this is the last day you're stuck with me. But the good news is we have Derrick Evans that everybody loves. How's it going, Derrick?
Going great, Annie. Hope you're having a good day, and we are happy to be stuck with you, and hopefully Mike is having a great time over there, and they're safe. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe, all those good things. Whatever platform you're watching on, hop in the comments. Me and Annie read all the comments. I always do my best to give shout-outs, kind of like this. We've got Dan Dreher over in the Rumble chat. We've got Sean over here in the Getter chat as well as Obliviously, and then in the X chat, which I'm just now getting going because X is a little glitchy right now. We got Glittler over here, and if anybody else was in there beforehand, just re-comment, and I'll give you a shout-out. With that, guys, we have an awesome show lined up for you guys here today.
We do. Lots of fun, lots of funny stories, I would say, today, Derrick. But as last night, as I was looking to find some stories, I came across the very first one that we're going to put up, and I'm like, oh, Derrick's going to have a lot to say about this one because apparently Senator Mike Lee and Tommy Tuberville, or Weil, introduced bill to abolish TSA. How do you feel about that, Derrick?
I support this. I really do. Look, the airports can privatize. This can be privatized and paid for out of the airport stuff. There's no reason to have the TSA at this point. There's no reason to be accosted. There's no reason to be basically sexually assaulted as you are going through the airport. And especially if the TSA has put you on the Quad S list, which happened to me after January 6th, where they gave me the most intense pat down I've ever had. And yes, I was even strip searched in prison, and this was the most intense pat down I'd ever had from the TSA, all to just harass you over certain things. And so I agree with this. Mike Lee is a true patriot. And if you guys don't follow him and keep up with him, you definitely should. He's a Republican senator from the state of Utah, and you need to check him out.
Agreed. And here's let's say dumb question, because I don't know much about TSA. I have not put foot in an airport since 2017. I boycotted flying. I just drive wherever it is. But so if this happens and the security or TSA, well, it won't be a TSA anymore. Anyways, becomes private. What are the major changes that's going to happen? Like, is it going to be private rules and regulations? Are they going to still have to follow the watch list, you might call it? What are the impacts? I know it's a great thing because a lot of power grip and, overacting to certain things will be eliminated, but that's the extent of what I know will be affected. So you might have answers to What difference does it make, as Hillary would like to say?
Well, first of all, the biggest difference is that the taxpayers will no longer be funding this. Right now, the taxpayers are funding TSA. So, for instance, you and there's many others who never fly anywhere. Why should they be the ones paying? Why should everybody be paying for this when a lot of the population doesn't fly? I mean, I fly, and obviously, the airports might add a fee onto that to make up for that cost. I don't know, but then it's being paid for by the people who are actually using it, which to me, I'm okay with as someone who actually does fly. I'm okay with that. So that would be the first step. And then I don't know exactly how this part would work, but in theory, you would think that it goes back to kind of like a business consumer standpoint where, some of this stuff would be more considered discrimination when they're just targeting and harassing people, if you will. And then, the big thing here is we've got Kristen over here. Kristen says TSA is a fake sense of security, and I would agree with this as well. And then I want to give a shout out to Deshaun's 1-2s over here, and then Thaddeus. Oh man, our good friend Thaddeus says he lost his best friend today to cancer, and just wanted to say rest in peace to that, Thaddeus. Hope you have as good of a weekend as possible, man. We love you and appreciate you, and I'll be praying for you this weekend, man. But that I think those are going to be the biggest changes from this are, that the taxpayers will no longer be subsidizing this for the airports, which we subsidize a lot of other things as well. And then I have to ask, at the end of the day, you got to remember, and Andy knows this is better than anybody, but one of the reasons for these terrorist attacks from the Muslims and stuff is to create fear. And so I have to ask, if we have to be sexually assaulted to hop on an airplane 24 years after 9/11, did we really win? who won here? And who really won at the end of the day? So that's where I stand with it.
Actually, that's why I stopped flying. I was coming back in 2017 from, I think, Boston, Massachusetts, from a speaking engagement event. And at the airport, they decided to pick on my necklace. I have this necklace that it's a fake. Everybody knows it's a fake bullet. Has a cross on it and a verse of the Bible. The verse, I don't know the number, but the verse that says, sell your clock and get a sword. So I have that on, and they decide to pick on it. They pull me out of the line. They're like, you need to open your necklace. We need to make sure nothing is in it. I'm like, bro, it's plastic. There's no way I'm going to shoot it. What am I going to use to shoot this? Anyways, as they're pulling me off the line, I watched this Muslim woman with a burqa pass right through. And, I could not react. So, longest story short, end up missing my flight, get a full out fight with them. And I'm like, I'm done with you. If the enemy gets to walk right through TSA and I have to answer for a necklace, then we're done. I'm not using airports ever again. And I stopped. So yes, we didn't win, they won. Because they used the card of racism, Islamophobia, all of that. So they're still getting through the lines. We're the ones suffering or being stopped every corner, which is ridiculous.
I'll say one of the issues I have with this is my shirt will no longer be needed. So after the first time I went through, after getting out from January 6th, and I found I was on the Quad S list, and they they basically assaulted me. I got a shirt that says it's not gay if it's TSA, and I would wear that through the thing and would stand there as they're like giving me the most intense pat down, and that's what I would tell them too. They'd say, "Are you want a private screening or you want to do it here?" And I said, "Hey man, it's not gay if it's TSA. Let's just get it. Let's just do it." And I wore that.
Love it.
So that shirt would no longer be needed now, but I still support this, and absolutely. And then Dan Dreyer says, when you overstep your bounds, you are no longer needed, and that's over in the Rumble chat, and that's exactly right. And then I want to give a shout out to FG over here in the Getter chat as well. We appreciate you on that. And then Obliviously wants to know, I wonder how many TSA are Muslims, and that's a good question as well on all of this. But there's has to be some changes that are made. I mean, there was a newborn baby who was placed on the Quad S list, had to be assaulted the way that I was. A newborn baby. Obviously, there was some sort of mistake there. I'd imagine that had the same name as somebody else. But you would think that when you get there and they see that it's a newborn baby, and when I say newborn, I'm talking like a month old, maybe 2 months old. I'm not talking a newborn and it's 9 months old or whatever. Like we're talking about a newborn baby. And you would think that they would use some discretion there and be like, okay, obviously there was a mistake that was made somewhere, and this baby has never done anything to be put on this list. Go ahead. But no, they did not do that. They continued with their job and had the mother hold this baby as they sit there and search everything. I mean, you can't even make this up at this point. And so when I heard that, I was like, I am done with these people at this point. That is unacceptable.
Well, we all pray that bill goes through, because it would be wonderful. And again, I like the fact that my tax money is not going to go fund bunch of crazy people who don't even know better. And as you said, they just do their job, even if it's disrespectful to their own citizen. That's fine. But talking about tax money, taxpayers' money not being wasted. So apparently on Wednesday, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not as Congresswoman, but as the chairwoman of DOJ, had a hearing with her subcommittee, having a hearing with PBS and NPR CEOs. And of course, I listened to the whole hearing because I thought it was hilarious and tragic at the same time. But I cut a clip of it. Let's listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene yet again, proving a point, calling him out with actual evidence. And by the way, the discretion advice, what she's about to play is really disturbing. So heads up if you want to just leave the room for a minute. Here we go.
As mentioned earlier, PBS was the outlet that featured the child predator drag queen on the education show for kids ages 3 to 8 years old. And to clarify the record, because our witness, Ms. Kerger, lied under oath and said it wasn't featured on PBS, this show was aired on PBS on April 1st, 2021. And we will take a look at this video right now. We're using a TV today because our audio system is having problems. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
So, get your singing voices ready. And we're going to start with our hips. The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. Swish, swish, swish. The shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The mouth on the drag queen goes blah, blah, blah. All through the town.
The hips go swish, swish, swish. The shoulders go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. That's repulsive. That's not what children ages 3 to 8 should ever be watching. A grown biological man posing as a woman. And by the way,
you go first.
I'd have to. First of all, I'm gonna get some shout outs because I'm Trump. Shout out in the X chat here. Trump won 3 times. Stacy, we appreciate you guys for being here. Dude, I want to jump through this screen right now and grab that dude by the daggone throat and just knock him out. That's what I want to do. And then I'm even more pissed off right now knowing that our tax dollars paid for that. And now I'm upset with myself for not knowing that my tax dollars have paid for that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that is, I'm frustrated all around right now. If our Congress does not, our Republican controlled Congress does not defund PBS, there should be ads in every single primary running that ad right there as an ad, calling out the Republicans for funding that. Because if we don't defund that, then you are saying, and you're condoning that and saying that it's okay, number one. Number two, the CEO who lied under oath and said that did not happen when it did should be arrested and should be held for whatever it is that they call that. But they've done that to conservatives, you know, for lying under oath and everything else in these congressional hearings. That she should be charged for lying under oath. And honestly, PBS and whoever did that should be charged for promoting sexual promiscuity, sexual stuff to children. And that's where I'm at with this. And if those things don't happen, then we as conservatives have to start holding our Republicans accountable because they have the power to do those things. And if they're not going to do it, they need to stop talking about it. We need to start seeing some action on this. And I can't even believe that this has happened.
I know, that's why I did the discretion advice, because I had to unfortunately watch it to cut it. And the age, I'm not saying this is fine for teenagers, but Derek, they played this thing on April 1st, 2021, apparently until end of May, for a full 2 months almost, for children aged 3 to 7. It's disgusting. I'm an adult. I would like to think I'm an adult, but I see that, I'm like, ew. This is direct brainwash. There is no way around it. I don't care who believes on whatever you want to be, I don't care. But when you push that on the most, like 3 to 7 literally is the age that a child's mindset is shaping. They're not reaching maturity, but they're shaping their ideas and understanding of their surrounding. And this is what they're showing them. And yes, I'm on the same boat as far as I am so ashamed that I funded this and I didn't know. I literally, until yesterday when I watched the hearing, I didn't know. And I feel like, yes, we need to do better. And you say as conservatives, I agree. Also as Christians, everybody should be very much, well, there is no choice. We shouldn't give them a choice. Defund, and yes, that CEO who lied a few minutes earlier on that very hearing, she literally looks at them in the eyes like, we never aired it for PBS, for children. Never. And I'm like, wow, yes, there should be consequences for that.
Well, and I do want to add here, like, in general, I don't care what. Don't sexualize children. I don't care if it's, heterosexual sex. Nothing sexual should be pushed out here on these children in the government schools, on the government-funded programs. In general, like none of this should be happening, regardless. And to me, it's just even worse because now you have this added in there. I'm telling you right now. I'm kind of looking around and I'm mad at all the men, including myself right now. Why the heck are we not out in the streets right now? I'm serious. Like this, we funded this. Like I cannot believe this, Annie. And I'm not even, this is not some fake outrage. It's the first time I'd seen it. I didn't watch this beforehand. That's the first time I've seen it. Annie told me a little bit about it before we came on the air, but I'm baffled. And so this happened for 2 months. And so, first of all, I don't know how we didn't hear about this then. It's all over national TV that we're funding. But like I said, look, this is I don't know what we're going to do, but we got to get organized. We got to make noise, and we got to demand that PBS is defunded at this point. I mean, I was already on board. I already wanted to be defunded anyways. We talked about that on the show before. But like now, like there's no negotiating with this in terms of all this. It's got to end. And any Republican specifically who defends this, who does not work every single day from here until it's closed to defund it, then they should be considered guilty and should be an accomplice and should be considered as also promoting this garbage. And quite frankly, I want to go back and see the last time, and I'm going to do some research over the weekend. I'm going to go back and do some research on the last time that a funding bill for PBS came up. I want to see the Republicans who voted for that, and I'm not joking. I might just go and go to DC and knock on their door and show them that clip and ask why they voted to fund that and how they feel about that and what they're going to do about it. That's where I'm at right now, because it's time to, as the Democrats say, it's time to get in their faces. And I'm not talking about the Democrats. It's time to start getting in the rhino faces right now who are promoting this and funding this, and we've got to demand that this is over with and this ends. I can't believe that this has been happening. These poor children right now who are having that streamed into their television. Think about it. Some child used to watching a 9 a.m. Big Bird thing or whatever, a cartoon, turns on the TV at 9 o'clock and they find that disgusting thing on their TV singing to them. That's what happened in homes across our country. And we, the people, have allowed that to happen. And now we're actually having a debate on whether we're going to defund them or not. There should be no debate. Just write down a single page bill that they are defunded, and don't do it by executive order. We need to have this a law passed by Congress so it can never just come back and defund this once and for all and abolish it for good, and then start holding investigations to arrest the people who have been sexualizing our children and using tax dollars to do so.
Exactly. And two things I want to add. Number one, I think, Derrick, not to add to your rage here, but mind you, Marjorie Taylor Greene played, 15 seconds of it. This was a whole hour programming. One full hour.
Yeah, that was just the intro.
Just the intro. The second thing, I think the reason a lot of us didn't. Now, I could kind of have the excuse for myself that I don't have kids, so watching PBS or monitoring, but the habit of us conservatives boycotting channels results here. Listen, I still check on CNN and MSNBC and all of them because I know the moment I don't watch them anymore because I don't want to give them rating is when I'm going to miss something important. I think that's one of the reasons PBS managed to do this, and a lot of parents didn't notice is because in their head, boycott, don't watch, don't give them rating. They didn't consider how the other kids in the country whose parents are either on the left or crazy or just not involved with politics are still facing this. So that's one of the reasons we got to be careful when we're boycotting media channels. It's not a beer to just not buy, not drink, and we're good. These outlets cannot be boycotted and not monitored. This happens. 4 years later, we discovered this was aired. And let's not mention, I don't even know if they're archived it somewhere, meaning some crazy liberal parent could have kept playing it for their kids. Which I think if somebody did, they should face some consequences too. Just personal.
Agreed. And to your point, Annie, you're correct, especially when it's publicly funded programs. Like I'm talking about myself right now. That's how I feel. I should be, as long as it's going to be on there, I should at least be checking it out and knowing what's going on, because I'm a part owner. We are part owners of this network. We are stakeholders in that network. We are shareholders, if you will. We should keep an eye on what is being done there. I mean, my children have never watched PBS or any of those things, and you know, I've never turned it on. I never have, and so we're gonna have to do that. And I would particularly be interested in knowing if any of this. The last funding bill for PBS, I wonder if it came before or after that. It'd be even more disturbing if that happened and our Republicans in Congress funded it afterwards, after that took place. Because look, it's one thing as a normal taxpayer to not pay attention to that, but if you're in Congress and you're going to vote to fund that, you should definitely be not, even if it's not you, your staff should be doing some research and finding out what you're going to be voting for. And if not, you know, if it's sheer ignorance and incompetence, then that's still not an excuse to get reelected. Like I'm sorry, if you voted to fund this after that, I don't care which Republicans it is. They should be kicked out. They're not fit to serve the people and represent us. Obviously, at that point, I can't believe this. I really can't.
I know. Well, I'm trying to look, and looks like the last funding was March 14, 2024, but this was a quick search. Don't quote me on it. I'll do a deeper.
Yeah, I'll do some research over the weekend. That's gonna be my weekend project now. I've got 4 kids. I'm fired up right now. I don't get this fired up very often that quickly, anyways. And then obliviously says all taxpayer monies spent should be itemized and online for all to see, and that's exactly right. That is 100%. If they were itemized, and you could go, okay, here's PBS, and you could click on there really quickly and sift through and see, you know, what they're funding or whatever. I would like to also, I want to do some research, see what the name of the show is, because the left is really good at naming things in a way that sounds really good on the surface to make you dig into it. Like a lot of the bills that they promote, that sounds awesome on the title of the bill, and then you start reading it, it's like that has nothing at all to do with the title. I wonder if the show was called something, you know, that if you just saw the name of the show, you wouldn't think anything of it. And so you got some innocent parent, they see the name of the show and turn it on there, and then that's what they see. I almost wonder that as well. But yes, everything should be itemized and online and available for anyone to see how their money is being spent.
Yes, well, we do have good news. So let's take our first sponsor break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some good news that might help your rage. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Welcome back to Insurrection. Believe it or not, what was that echo? I don't know if you heard it, but I just heard myself. Believe it or not, it is extremely costly to run a network with 14 different shows a week, pretty much 5 to 6 live show a day. And we don't get funding from Congress or government or Soros, none of them. We're on our own. So we do need your support directly on the Insurrection, of course, and also X America News, which you can go to xamericanews.com and support us if you don't want to spend money by sharing the shows, subscribing to our newsletter, which is a free newsletter, clicking on social media pages and follow us everywhere. But if you can't afford to reach into your pocket, we have sponsors and affiliates whom if you purchase from, you get discounts, we get credits, such as MyPillow.com or MyStore.com. Use promo code INSURRECTION. You could get up to 80% discount on your purchase, and if you're getting more than $100 spent, you get 2 standard MyPillows for free. So head over to MyPillow.com or MyStore.com. Make a purchase. Make sure to use promo code INSURRECTION. So Mike Lindell knows that Derrick Evans and Michael Lauber sent you over, even though I did the read. Put a note there, Amy did the read.
Mike Lindell's a patriot. He really is. I love that guy, and that's outside of the whole ad and all that. Just Mike Lindell's a true patriot, and I'm hoping that we can secure our elections, and so that he can see all of his, not only his hard work, but the sacrifices that this man has made. He's a true patriot. He's willing to give up personal wealth and sacrifices in order to try to save our country. I'm hoping that our Republican-controlled Congress will secure our elections, and Mike can see all the sacrifices and the hard work he's done kind of come to fruition, if you will, because he's sacrificed billions and billions of dollars in this fight to secure our elections. So just wanted, hopefully they do the right thing and get that secured. And then while I'm over here, before we go to our next story, I want to give a shout out to Josh C. is me over here in the Rumble chat. Really appreciate you as well, man.
Perfect. So let's talk about good news. Since we were like, what can we do? We couldn't do anything about PBS. Here's something you can do. There's a new app now out there that will let citizens send real-time leads on illegal aliens to ICE. I think this is awesome.
I do too. It is absolutely awesome, and I think there's going to be a lot of citizens in some of these areas who are using that app, obviously, to do so. And look, we've got to ramp up the deportations. I think that they're going to focus on they're all criminals because they all broke the law when they invaded our country. But the gangbangers and the criminals who have committed additional crimes, I know they're focused on them first, and but they put a big dent in that part of the population of that. And from what I'm hearing, it seems like they're getting ready to ramp it up more on a nationwide sort of thing and get more of them. And this app and American citizens can do their part in helping by using that app to help them out in the process.
Yes, and let me, as always, play the devil's advocate. For anybody out there who's might be watching this or just seeing that news, who's screaming their head off, first of all of you were more than happy to report people like us, and genuinely, one of you was my neighbor who reported me in our apartment building saying she's taking her trash out without wearing a mask during lockdown. Remember that? So We might be just leaving, even though you guys were reporting those of us who were not wearing the mask, or were not locking down, or were not taking the vaccine. You were reporting us for practicing our freedoms. Those of us who are going to use this app to report illegals are actually following the law. Because there's a law in this country that says we, as citizens, have the right to protect ourselves against all enemies, foreign or domestic. These illegals are our enemies. So when we pick up that app, put a report on an illegal, especially a criminal illegal. Wait a minute, when you're an illegal, you're automatically a criminal. Never mind, that's redundant. So don't come at us with all of your sympathy, empathy, and crocodile tears. I'm doing it, and I'm proud to do it because I think I'm doing a service for my country.
Well, you are, and that's exactly what it is. These people are enemies of our country. I mean, they illegally invaded our country. Most of them have ill intentions at the same time. And you know, we have to do our own part in terms of that and helping them do this. Kind of in the same category here. I don't know if you saw this, Annie. Police officers in Rochester, New York, received an emergency call from Border Patrol. And so they needed backup, they needed help, and Rochester, New York police officers responded to help the Border Patrol. And now their reward for this is they are potentially being terminated from their jobs because the mayor of Rochester says, well, we're a sanctuary city, you should not have responded to that. And so now they are potentially losing their jobs for doing that. And if that's the case, I hope that Tom Homan says, cool, I'm going to hire you on to us, and we're going to open up a local office so you don't have to leave your family, and you can work for us right here, working for us now. But yeah, they are potentially, or even being threatened, even if they don't lose their jobs, the fact they're even being threatened to lose their jobs for responding to fellow law enforcement officers and giving them backup on an emergency call. Now, that's how despicable the left is right now. And quite frankly, that mayor should be arrested. And that's why I say we've got to start arresting these mayors. At some point, one of our Border Patrol agents is going to be harmed or even worse, hopefully not, because local law enforcement is going to refuse to help them. And these mayors are aiding and abetting foreign invaders of our country and terrorists, and they need to be arrested and held accountable for doing so.
Amen. And that's the thing, it's not just the mayors, it's like literally the Democrats. Here, actually, we can make a great point on the next story, which, as you would say, you can't even make this up. Top Democrats are actually saying, instead of deporting the MS-13 members, or that other one that I can never pronounce, we should give them a chance to walk away from their gang membership. What?
You can't make this up, as you said. I mean, they wanted them to have to probably be out with no bond on just their identity be out released, and then have the ability to say, all right, I'm no longer a gang member, and then they could stay in our country. First of all, I don't care if they're a gang member or not. If they're here illegally, they've got to go. And I don't care if it's a 5-year-old child. I don't care who it is. If they are here illegally, they've got to go. I don't care if it's a 5-year-old child. I don't care if it's a 70-year-old grandma who's been here for 50 years. Got to go. Sorry, get out of here. And you can either leave on your own, or we'll take you out of here. And obviously, you're going to treat a 5-year-old and a 70-year-old grandma, a little bit different than you would these gang members here as you're deporting them. But they've got to be deported one way or another. That's just all there is to it. There is no compromising. The line has been drawn in the sand. They've had months now to leave the country on their own. And if they are knowingly staying here illegally, then as far as I'm concerned, they should be considered an enemy of our country, and they should be treated as such.
Yes, and going back to the so when they sit there and say we should have given them a chance to, denounce their membership or walk away from whatever it is, we're talking some of the top leaders of these gangs. Like, where have you been, Democrats? I mean, I know where have you been, and I know you prefer to keep these illegals because you like their chaos and destruction. But when you, again, I don't know. Like, honestly, Derek, some of the things they say, I just said them like, do they know we know, or do they think that we don't know what they're talking about? Like, it is so bluntly anti-American right now. It's like, we will do anything for those who hate America, that openly we're gonna defend them, we're gonna give them chances, we're gonna bail them. Remember, a lot of these Democrats, including Kamala, were those who were raising money to post bail for destructive behavior of crazy people during Summer of Love. Like, that is as much as you fund an anti-American person.
Yeah,
But
100%.
I mean, I guess, what do I know, right? I love America too much to understand anybody who hates America.
Josh C. is me over here in the Rumble chat has an excellent quote. It says, Democrats are the prime example of that phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that is exactly correct. And I don't think the upper levels of the Democrat Party, I don't think they have good intentions, but they, just the regular random white liberal in your suburban area over here who's so detached from reality and has this bleeding heart, virtue signaling, all of those. I do think that they are coming from a place of good intentions, but they are not smart enough, nor have they done the research to understand, or the personal life experiences to understand that that it's not what they're pushing for is actually evil instead of good. And that's exactly a good example, or a good quote to describe those very people. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that describes the base of the Democrat Party, if you will.
Yeah, very true. And I'm trying to find, I need to cheat because I forgot the name of this person. Since I'm saying some of this doesn't even make sense to me. This one was sent by Michael Lauer this morning. The video I'm going to play, Scott Adams, this guy, and this video was on Gateway Pundit, but he has a great suggestion, and he thinks we should create a department of imaginary concerns to handle fake Democrat panics. Let's listen to his idea, and then we talk about it. Okay, he decided not to play. That's not cool. Okay.
So either way, though, that would be a pretty good use of funds. That's what they stand for, and it would. There's definitely that line would blow up constantly. It would be ringing off the hook if they had that department for sure.
Now that we know that the big problem was the imaginary concern of what could have happened but didn't happen, I've suggested that Trump should create a department of imaginary concerns. And it would be only to handle Democrat complaints. And the new department could have imaginary policies to combat the imaginary concerns. So you would place things like climate change in there. Climate change, at least the crisis part of the climate change. You put the Russia collusion thing in there. You put the Houthis could have found out by hacking Signal in there. You put Trump might steal your democracy in the imaginary concerns department. That Musk might steal our social security numbers. That you put that right in the Department of Imaginary Concerns, and that there might be a constitutional crisis. Yep, that's the Department of Imaginary Concerns. Now, I'm not completely serious about this, but just think how funny it would be if every time one of these hoaxes comes up and Trump is asked about it, he says, "Oh, I've delegated that to the Department of Imaginary Concerns." But are you trying to steal our democracy? That's a perfectly good question. So I've delegated that to the Department of Imaginary Concerns.
That's awesome, and I am serious. I'm 100% serious. Do it, please. That is hilarious. It is awesome, and I can just imagine Caitlin Collins and those liberals in a press conference when they asked that, and he says that, well, I appreciate the concern. We've delegated that to the Department of Imaginary Concerns. That would be epic. That would be awesome. My only complaint, is I'm upset that I was not creative enough to come up with this on my own, because this is genius and one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
Agreed. And I know he says I'm not totally serious, but if you stop laughing for a minute, if I can, He is so correct though. Like the never-ending list of fake panic by left is funny at this point, and they keep creating more, right? I love that, Trump's gonna steal our democracy. This has been going on since 2016. Remember, this was their slogan back in 2016 as well, which we kept reminding them we're not even a democracy, we're a republic. But
yes, we say, how can you steal something that doesn't exist? We're a constitutional republic. That's even funnier too. Ro Harv over here in the X chat says, that's great, but the Democrats won't get it, and they probably won't. It would probably be an awesome national inside joke. They would never get it. Obliviously says this is genius over here in the Getter chat. And I have to agree. This is hilarious. My goodness, that's awesome.
Yes, since we're on this topic, let's do our next story before we take our last sponsor break. Because here's another American-hating Democrat that right here, Insurrection, or on my program, we have a special friendship with her. So Ilhan Omar is taking initiative to impeach Mike Waltz and Pete Hegseth over the signal leak. One of the fake concerns that the Scott just talked about. She wants to impeach these two people.
Well, I think that we should deport her as well as the brother that she married illegally to bring him over here. We should deport both of them. And so that's where I'm at. She should just be laying low and hoping everybody forgets that she shouldn't even be here. But that's what I think. I think we should deport Ilhan Omar. And then we can go from there. But and I'm not joking, by the way. I'm being 100% dead serious. She hates our country. She is here and does not appreciate anything. It's funny that she says and does the things she does, considering that if she was back in her home country, she would not be allowed to speak or show her face. And you would think that she would appreciate having the freedom to stand up and speak half the nonsense that she does, and she would at least appreciate our country for giving her that. But she completely hates our country. That is shown time and time again. Ilhan Omar should be deported.
Yes, and I don't think she should be first deported, to be very honest. She has committed many crimes, but for sure she has committed immigration fraud. Now, if you are a naturalized citizen of this country and nobody cares what age you came to the country, you could have been 2 months old, doesn't matter, but you're a naturalized citizen. When you commit immigration fraud, a federal judge has the right to revoke your citizenship, but put you through trial and sentence you to proper fine and prison time. And when you serve your prison time and pay your fine, then you be deported. I prefer that method for Ilhan.
This is why I love Annie. So as for those of you who may not know or are new to our network and everything, Annie came here the legal and proper way. She's one of the most patriotic people I've ever met, and so she knows all of these things way better than most of us. And so I did not know that, and now that Annie has properly educated me, I would like to see that happen as well. Annie, I am on board with what you're saying. We got some chats over here. Obliviously says she's an actual oppressor. That's why her family fled Somalia. She was the oppressive regime. And Sean says Muslims use our constitution again. You know what? Have we already taken our other break?
No, we're about to take our last ad break.
Yeah, let's do that and come back, because you are so well versed in all of this, and I don't want to disrupt the conversation with that, because this is your wheelhouse and you're definitely an expert on this. Let's do that first so we can keep it flowing afterwards.
Okay, let's go hear me. Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com.
meeting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfthestudio.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
Annie, you said we would be right back, but you never left. You were there the whole time, and we really appreciate you. We really do. Annie's stepped up. She's definitely one of the sponsors. If you're into art and all that stuff, absolutely head over there and check out her shop over there. Annie's a true patriot, as I was alluding to earlier, and does so many things for our network here in front of the camera and behind the camera as well, that we would not be here, or the shows would not happen without Annie. I can promise you guys that. So we really appreciate you, Annie. And then, like I said, this is Annie's wheelhouse. She's literally would be my call a friend on anything, questions related to this. So Sean says Muslims use our constitution against us. What are your thoughts about that comment, Annie?
Yes, Muslims do use our constitution against us, but it's not mine and yours, but it's our administration's fault. If we had just one single person in our administration with a backbone to enforce the law, Muslims couldn't take advantage or use our constitution against us. Why? What they're doing right now is they're using our First Amendment against us by practicing their religion freely. Now, we do have within that very constitution, it is mentioned that it is not allowed or it is illegal for any individual to practice any laws outside of our law, meaning foreign laws shall not be practiced. If one person with a backbone would bring this up and say, okay, dear Muslims of America, either you were born here or you came here, it doesn't matter. If you are a Sharia practicing Muslim, you have the choice to leave the country, or you will have to face consequences for practicing a foreign law that opposes our constitution. Here's the problem. Nobody's doing that. So Muslims are allowed to be Sharia practicing Muslims, and now if you take away the Sharia from Muslims, they're not Muslims anymore, because Islam cannot exist without Sharia and vice versa. We just need one person, Derek. One person to enforce this law, and it'd be solved. Are they abusing it? Muslims abusing our constitution? Yes, but they're doing it because nobody's stopping them. Legally,
everybody's being afraid of being labeled as an Islamophobe.
Or worse, racist, because apparently Islam is a race lately. Now, I'm not aware of it, but they say Islam is a race, so you're a racist and an Islamophobe. If you stop Muslims, did you know, you got me started, Derek. Did you know?
Good.
By our constitution, every governor and every mayor has the tools legally to stop building of any new mosques, and also to shut down every single existing mosque in America, but they don't do it?
So explain to people, I know a little bit about this, not well enough to explain it, the importance of the mosque in Islam and why that's so important, and why somebody would consider stopping that from being built here. Sure.
So number one, mosques are not part of Islam. They're part of Sharia. If you read the Quran, there's only one single time the word masjid or mosque has been mentioned in the Quran, and it has nothing to do with the concept of a mosque where you go do prayer. It has everything to do with the mosque that is right now the fight over in Gaza between Israel and Palestinians. That masjid or mosque has been mentioned in the Quran as a holy place that non-believers shall not step into. Other than that, within Quran, there is no mention of go to a mosque and do your prayer. It isn't. It's the Sharia base where Muhammad himself decided to create these mosques as sign of conquer. Every time there was a land that was conquered by Muhammad and his army, they would build not a fancy ones like you see in Texas and California and Cincinnati, Ohio for that matter. No, a very small tent type of thing that they would call it masjid or mosque. That would be sign of conquer of that land. And it carries on to today. Every time you see a new mosque built in a new area in America or Europe or wherever that's not an Islamic country, that is their sign of conquer. They have conquered that area. Soon after that, you normally see Sharia police in the area. You normally see no-go zones in that area where the mosque goes up. So The mosque has nothing to do with the religious part of this. It has everything to do with the system of laws, which is Sharia. So when you see a mosque go up, number one, the area has been conquered. Secondly, the mosques are the place where the imam, okay, let me break this a little fast, going too fast. When you're not an Islamic country or a nation, you have to have your own Muslim community. Therefore, you need to have a leader who can give you the rules and regulations and keep you in check and do all the judgments by Sharia. Who's that one? It's the imam. You build the mosque, you put an imam in there to become your supreme leader or Sharia leader, including that person who can call for jihad, like the Boston Mosque, where the Boston Marathon bombers came out of. That's where you have the imam. So definition of a mosque has nothing to do with the religion, everything to do with conquer the land and then have the leader of the military or Sharia system in there to tell the Muslims of that society, that area, what to do, when to do, how to do it, and the imam will also fund them. This is exactly why, based on our constitution, we can shut down every existing mosque and stop any other ones from building. Well, again, we don't have anyone with the backbone to say, stop, we're going constitution.
So would it be safe for layman's terms? Would it be like, if I'm trying to explain this to somebody, would it, very quickly, if I was, would it be okay, or would I be wrong to say that a mosque is, you should look at it almost as like a military base for Sharia in that region? Would that somewhat be accurate? Okay, that's crazy. And Josh C says he's not scared of his, like I say, the rest of it. Josh, I agree with you though. Dan Dreyer says Annie needs to be an advisor on the Trump team. I agree. We have actually sent her information multiple times trying to do that. Sean in the Getter chat says now President Trump is with the Muslims. He's a great president, but when he's wrong, he's way wrong. And that is pretty accurate. I would have to say on a lot of the things right now it's going on in our country. With is there a difference in and you guys are getting to be a fly on the wall? I would be asking these I'd be having this conversation with Annie whether we were live or not. Right? I'm truly fascinated on this topic to discuss with Annie. I don't even have this conversation with other people anymore. That's how much I respect Annie on this. Is there a difference between just Muslim and Sharia Muslims? And the reason I say that is, as I know, obviously I hate it. And somebody says radical Islam because Islam is radical. What about, is there a difference between, I guess Islam and other forms of being Muslim? Because I truly don't know. I'm completely uneducated on this.
Yes, this is a discussion that I can actually talk about for hours, and I've done it a few years ago. I did a full 1 hour on it. I phrase it this way. There are good Muslims and there are bad Muslims. Now, depending on who's talking about the good Muslim and bad Muslim, they will switch places. If Allah and Muhammad and supreme leaders and muftis are talking about a good Muslim versus bad Muslim, the good Muslim within Quran is described as, if you do not commit jihad with your wealth, money, or your life, blow yourself up, you are not Allah's favorite. So a good Muslim, the definition of Islam and Sharia and the leaders, is someone who's either funding jihad or blowing themselves up or sending their son or daughter to blow themselves up at the Gaza crisis. So that's a good Muslim. The bad Muslim is the one that you see at a bar right here in Cincinnati. They're having a beer, having a girlfriend, dancing to Western music and shaking your hand. That's a bad Muslim. This is within Islam itself. Now you come out and me and you talk about it. The good Muslim is the one at the bar. The bad Muslim is the one who's blowing himself up. Does that make sense?
It does. I've never heard it explained that way. So seriously, thank you. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I have another question for you on this. I'm sorry, we're not going to go to anything else. Now that I've got you on this, we're going to finish the show with this. what is? I remember I took like I went to something about this a while back. It's been years ago now, so I vaguely remember parts of it. But I somewhat remember them explaining in this class or whatever I went to that they twist and misuse our version, our word peace. So when they say that they want peace, but like in Arabic or Muslim or Islam, the word peace means something different. Am I misremembering, or is that correct? And if can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so I believe you're referring to the word. So when you meet a Muslim or Muslims meet each other, you hear them say Assalamu alaikum. The word salam and Islam itself, which comes all from salam, is where they say it's peace. They say when I say Assalamu alaikum, I'm saying peace be upon you. However, in the exact translation of Islam or Salam, whichever one you use as the translation of peace, it means submission. Islam equals submission, but they will tell you Islam comes from the roots of the word peace. Now, are they twisting it? No, because in reality, the last day and the peace shall arrive upon Muslims when all breathing humans are Mohammedan, following Muhammad, being Muslims. So the submission is the peace within Islam. So they're not twisting the meaning. We just have a different definition of peace.
Gotcha. So, but I guess Americans are twisting it. We're the ones twisting that. When they say peace, we think that they mean like we all want to sing kumbaya and cohabitate together. But at the same time, when they are saying they want peace, they are literally standing. I mean, and I've seen it in press conferences here in America, and they're talking about that. And if they're Islam, Sharia law practicing Muslim, and they say they want peace, what they are saying is they want all the rest of us to submit to Islam. Is that would that be an accurate statement 100%. To make?
Yes.
So fascinating. Yes. This is crazy.
Basically, okay, so you will be given peace. You as a Christian, Derrick Evans, you have two eligibilities in a majority society of Muslims to have peace. You either submit to Islam, come to Islam. And by the way, they will tell you that becoming a Muslim does not mean you're denouncing Jesus Christ. They will tell you that. They are true. That is true statement from their point of view. But in reality, is becoming a Muslim is when you admit that Jesus Christ was not but a prophet sent to promote Islam. So, I'm not making this up. It's in the Quran. That's wow. Jesus they believe in. So every time a Muslim tells you, we believe in the same God. In Islam, we believe in Jesus. They will tell you they believe in Jesus. They will never tell you they believe in Jesus Christ. Always Jesus. Not the Christ part. Not the Son of God. They don't believe in Trinity. In Quran, it says those who are believers will never believe in Trinity. Do not say the three. Those are signs of being an unbeliever. Right there. Now, someone like you has the choice to become a Muslim or stay a Christian and become second-class citizen or known as dhimmi. Derrick, someone like me, I don't have that choice. I'm an ex-Muslim.
No. How many hits, I guess, or bounties are on your head in other country in those countries right now? Because you came from there.
All together, including the ones from America, 12. 7 are from within American mosques, and 5 are from outside. Yes, majority of my bounties are from America. That's where it shocks people.
I know we're almost out of time here, but I do have at least one more question for you on this. In Islam, from what I remember, and that's I'm going to make it as a statement, but it's really a question. You can lie. It's okay to lie as long as you're lying to promote Islam. Is that correct, or did I say that as well?
No, you're correct. There is a thing called taqiyya, which is permitted lies. There are 3 circumstances as a Muslim you're allowed to use taqiyya. Number 1 and most permitted is to promote Islamization or promote the growth of Islam to convert people. Number 2 is if you're saving yours or fellow Muslim brother's life only the Muslim brother's life. If you're trying to save a Muslim sister's life, forget about it. You don't get to lie for them and they can be killed. Third and last is if you're trying to patch up a Muslim to Muslim marriage that is shaken a little, the wife comes to you and say, hey, your buddy who's my husband, did he cheat on me? And you're allowed to say no, even if he did, because you want to keep the marriage intact. So these are the three circumstances a Muslim is allowed to lie and get away with it. It's free pass to lie. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know the exact circumstances. I remember hearing that as well. Honestly, we should have an X space on this at some point, so people can come up and ask questions and such from you, because I'm so fascinated by a lot of this and so what's the word I'm looking for? I guess happy to know that you are on our side in all of this and are using your previous life experiences and such to educate to people who are willing to listen on the dangers of this in our country. We are quite frankly, we all talk about being invaded by the illegals invading our southern border, but we have been invaded by legal immigration of Muslims in our country. Would you agree with that? Absolutely, 100%. And here's the thing, I know we're out of time, but there's no possible way for us to skip this last story. Not only I agree with what you're saying, guess who else agrees with it? Pete Hegseth. He just displayed a brand new tattoo under his arm in Arabic. Or I could say Farsi too, because it's the same as spelling. And it says Kafir. It means infidel in English. And it has created an absolute unreal meltdown by Muslims, by the left. And I just want to say this. This man, they're going to go after him. I'm guessing Ilhan Omar is going after him. One of the reasons is watch as they're going to go after him with everything they've got, because this man just came out respectfully and showed the entire Muslim community in America and all Muslim sympathizer a fantastic double middle finger.
So that is awesome, and hopefully we can keep Pete safe as he's doing all this. Let me ask you: would it be an accurate statement? I mean, you know me very well. Would it be an accurate statement for me to say I'm a proud infidel? Would that be accurate?
It is, for your case, Derrick Evans. Yes, you are absolutely 100% infidel, because not only you're not afraid of him, not only you're not afraid to call him out, but also you are a proud follower of Christ who will stand up to those who will try to steal him from Christianity and label him a Muslim prophet.
Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you, Annie. This has been amazing. Ro over here, this is great discussions. I'm sad I had to leave it. We get that, Ro. I'm sad it's kind of ended too. We appreciate you guys. Sorry I didn't get to as many comments here towards the end, because I was just having an awesome conversation here with Annie. We really appreciate you guys. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe, all those good things. And hope you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time with even more.
Yes, and Derrick, again, thank you for letting me sit in 2 days, not one, but 2 days for Michael. But good news for your audience, Michael Labor will be back Monday at 11 a.m. to sit back in his seat and probably do a better job on switching scenes and cameras. But I appreciate all of you welcoming me to Insurrection for the last 2 days. Stay safe, stay vigilant. I won't, but Derrick and Michael will see you back here Monday morning.